My wife messed around with a DJ. I drank whiskey, hired a private eye, and then wrecked her whole world with a little flash drive. After a crazy night out at the club with the dude she was secretly seeing, my wife ended up in the hospital with a broken leg and a super embarrassing message carved into her back. You heard me right. Carved. 3 big, bloody words were on her skin, right above her spine, in a font nobody could ever duplicate. Property of a liar, her boyfriend. I'm barely alive in the ICU. Eyes rolled back and tubes were everywhere. Cops were prowling around the waiting room like they were starving. And me? I was at home, chilling by the fireplace, sipping whiskey with his wife, Candace, watching the news. When the first reports about the club thing showed up on TV, my phone buzzed. Detective Elias, unknown number. Mr. Taylor, would you mind answering some questions? I laughed, leaned back, and told the phone, sure, detective. I've got nothing to hide. Because I didn't that night. My alibi was ironclad. Candace and I had receipts, video, and witnesses, and I didn't lay a hand on either of them, but don't think I wasn't in on it. I was the one pulling the strings, the calm before the hurricane. The one who watched my wife ruin everything we built, then turned her cheating into a straight-up war. Let's go back a bit, because this whole mess didn't start with blood and sirens. It started with silence. I remember the coldness, the locked phones, and a perfume I'd never smelled before. My wife, Madison, had always been a whirlwind, stunning, a bit of a loose cannon, full of life. That's what got me hooked. But was it the same fire now? It started to eat me alive about half a year ago. Her style changed. Nights out meant she wasn't coming home. Suddenly I was just the boring husband, stuck with early work and the house payment. She wanted thrills. I gave her affection. She gave me Tyler King. This dude wanted to be a DJ and was always at the gym. He drove a Dodge Challenger and wore sunglasses at night. The kind of guy who thinks buying expensive bottles makes him cool. He was everything I wasn't and everything she was chasing behind my back. How'd I figure it out? Not from texts. Not by catching them together. No, it was her laugh. I hadn't heard that fake, high-pitched giggle since we were in college. She only did it when she wanted someone to notice her, like a kid. She thought I wasn't paying attention, but I heard her laughing through the bathroom door on speakerphone. I didn't say anything that night. I waited, I watched. I wrote down every lie, every sneaky move, every late-night Uber ride. I let her think she was winning. She thought she was smart, and I was blind. But when she told a story about girls' night and I looked close at the mirror behind her sunglasses, the sleeveless hoodie, and that stupid Challenger keychain, I knew Tyler was in the picture. That night, I knew the game was over. I didn't shout. I didn't lose it. I swear I didn't lay a hand on her. I just smiled, gave her a kiss on the cheek, and whispered that I loved her. Then I started making calls. Candace was my ace in the hole, Tyler's wife. She'd been getting a bad feeling for weeks, but she didn't have anything concrete until I gave her the proof she needed. We ended up becoming what Madison and Tyler never could be, a real team. We cooked up the perfect plan, too. A club, a total blackout, a backroom fight that wouldn't point directly at us right away but would leave its mark. Permanently. The message on her back, that was all Candace. She said Madison needed to feel it, you know? It's a shame, though, the branding, the undeniable truth. They found Madison crying, hurt, and trying to crawl around in shoes she couldn't even stand up in. Tyler, he tried to fight back, but it didn't work out well for him. But like I said, I kept my hands clean. When the police finally showed up, I poured them some wine, smiled, and showed them the receipt for the fancy dinner I had with Candace, miles away at 9:47 p.m. Right when they were pulling my wife off the bathroom floor. But this is just the beginning. Because Madison doesn't have a clue, lying there in that hospital bed all hopped up on morphine and regret, that I'm nowhere near done with her. Not even close. This isn't about revenge. It's about finishing the game. Her betrayal broke the rules. Now I'm the one making them. She opened her eyes in that cold hospital room and looked at me like she expected me to care. I had this urge to go all in, you know? Grab her hand, kiss her forehead, and whisper, everything's going to be all right. Nope, not with Madison. You chucked okay off a cliff when you let that creep unzip your dress in the back of his nasty car. Ethan, she croaked, her voice rough from the pain meds. What happened? I leaned back against the wall, arms crossed, as chill as could be, like I was watching my favorite show. You tell me, I said. Last I saw, you were off for wine with Laura. How do you even find a club bathroom with a broken leg and your dress around your waist? She blinked, that little twitch in her left eye, the one she always gets when she's about to lie. I don't remember. I think I was drugged. Of course, the classic victim escape route. I walked over to her bed, looked right at her tired, stitched-up face, and said softly, they carved liar into your back, Madison. That wasn't an accident. She looked away. Good. Then Candace walked in. Madison's face went white as a sheet. Candace didn't say a word, just stood there in the doorway like a demon from hell, arms crossed. Watching the woman who slept with her husband try to breathe through a cracked rib, Madison gasped. Why is she here? I grinned. Oh, she's with me. That hit her harder than the broken leg. Are you serious? Dead serious, I said, pulling up a chair. See, while you were out on your little escapade, Candace and I were putting everything together. Every single lie, every single lie, every supposed spa getaway that turned out to be some crummy motel and bathroom quickie. I didn't mean for it to, she started to say. No, I cut her off. You meant every damn second of it. You just figured I'd never catch on. You thought I'd just keep playing the happy hubby while you played house with some dude who wears tank tops in the freezing cold. Her eyes started to water, fake tears though, the kind she pulls out when she wants something. You think I wanted this to happen? She snapped. Do you think I planned for Tyler to get hurt, for me to end up here like this? Candace finally stepped in. No, she said, her voice cold. You planned on me never finding out. You thought you were so clever, Maddie. You were just sloppy. She reached into her backpack and tossed a flash drive onto the hospital tray. There's video, Candace said, ice in her voice. From the club's security cameras, your husband and I made sure there were backups. Madison's mouth opened and closed, gasping like a fish out of water. This is crazy, she mumbled. You're setting me up. Nobody needs to set you up, I said. You built your own damn gallows. I got up, grabbed my jacket, and looked down at her. You know what hurts the most? I asked. Not the cheating, not even all the lies, it's that you didn't even bother trying to hide how little you cared about me. Her lips trembled. Ethan, please. I shook my head slowly. No, Madison, save it. You'll need your breath to explain all this to your mom and the lawyer. Her eyes went wide. Lawyer, I smiled. I'm filing for divorce. So yeah, it was all going down. I was about to lose everything, the house, the car, even those social media gigs. And every time some nurse asked about my back, I'd have to lie through my teeth. The truth, man, the truth would have just been mortifying. Anyway, Candace and I walked out, not a word between us until we hit the elevator. She looked at me, all concerned. You okay? She asked. Nope, I said, but I'm done keeping quiet. And as those elevator doors slid shut, it hit me. I wasn't broken. This was just the beginning. You know what they don't tell you about getting even. It's not some big, noisy, messy explosion. It's quiet, precise, like surgery. And the best part, they never see it coming. 2 weeks before Madison made that hospital bed her personal shame throne, I was there in our kitchen, playing the clueless wife. Pancakes, coffee, fake morning kisses, the whole 9 yards. Meanwhile, Candace and I were working together like we were planning a wedding, not a total takedown. We had everything, texts, private messages, even those hotel reservations under those ridiculously fake names Mr. and Mrs. Knight. Seriously. We weren't just watching them, we were studying them like a science project. Tyler had this routine. Every Friday after the gym, he'd hit that same bar on 8th Street. He thought he was so clever, always parking around back, texting Madison to wait 15 minutes so they wouldn't be seen together. And she'd wear that red leather jacket she bought behind my back. So this thing showed up one day, no receipt, nothing. Laura sent it, she said. Laura, who moved to Chicago last year. Remember Velvet Room? That dive, all dark and neon lit, a total mess. People got wasted, secrets flew around like crazy, and the cameras were always messing up, except for one. This one camera right above the fire escape, it worked perfectly. The night I did it, Candace and I had a guy on the inside, a bartender, Leo. He hated Tyler's guts, said the guy never tipped. So when we asked about getting into that secret back room, Leo just grinned. I'll leave it unlocked, he said. Madison showed up that night, these killer heels way too high for sneaking around. Her lipstick was already smeared before she even got a drink. Tyler hit on her like a stray dog, all over her, whispering nasty stuff in her ear. They snuck off to the back room, giggling. That was their last laugh. See, Leo made sure the room was dark enough to be creepy, but still light enough to see what was going on. And by what was going on, I mean what was written on Madison's back. I didn't hire anyone, that's the clever part. Tyler had enemies, a whole bunch of bad blood from old deals gone south. All I had to do was tip off the right person, where he'd be, who he'd be with, and when. Madison got caught in the crossfire. And you know what? I don't regret it one bit. She'd already betrayed everyone long before anything happened. The news got wind of it pretty fast. 2 people got hurt in that club attack. Nobody knows why. Then the pictures got out. That message on her back, property of a liar, blew up everywhere. T-shirts, memes, the whole 9 yards. Madison was desperately trying to scrub it all from the internet, but it was no use. Her modeling gigs dried up. Fitness companies started canceling her contracts. The influencer queen had become a joke. And Tyler, he's still unconscious, hasn't woken up since that night. The ICU keeps saying he's stable but critical. Candace went to see him. She later told me she stood there by his bed and whispered, I hope you can hear me, Tyler. I hope you dream about this every single night. You tore apart your family for a woman who can't even tell a decent lie. It was brutal, exactly what he deserved. Madison had no clue how bad things really were. When she finally got home, she texted me begging me to talk to her, saying she never meant for things to escalate like this, saying she loved me. I didn't answer. Her love was nothing but whispers in the dark and lies smeared with lipstick. It was my turn to vanish. I took some time off work, planned a quick getaway, and just left the house empty. No goodbye, no nothing. I wanted her to sit in the silence she'd created, to really feel the wreckage of what she'd done. I wasn't gone for good, just long enough to make her wonder if I was ever coming back, long enough for me to figure out if I even wanted to. 5 days. No texts, no calls, no online presence, just a blank space where I used to be. Madison didn't have a clue where I'd gone, and that's exactly how I wanted it. I wanted her to feel what I'd felt for months, that lost, confused, suspicious, helpless feeling. I wanted her stuck in that empty house, constantly checking the door like I'd magically reappear. But I was halfway across the country, somewhere peaceful and quiet. I'd be sitting out on a patio at night, sipping bourbon with no memories of her whatsoever. Just the wind and the waves. Her voice was gone. And you know what? I didn't miss her. That's the crazy part. You think you'll fall apart without the person you've built your whole life around. But once the truth came out, all I felt was free. She called 42 times. I didn't answer. She even tried my sister, my job, and Candace. Big mistake. Candace texted her something like, "Once he's done with you, you should be done with yourself." I don't know exactly what happened next, but I bet Madison was screaming into her phone in our old living room, those walls probably echoing all her lies. 6 days later, I flew back. Not for her, no way. It was for me. I needed to see the mess to make sure the storm had really blown over. The house was dark when I got there. No candles, no pathetic attempts at romance. Just her, sitting on the kitchen floor in a sweatshirt, no makeup on. Her eyes were bloodshot, like a ghost that forgot to, actually die. "Ethan," she breathed, like saying my name gave her air to breathe. I didn't say a word. She got up slow, kinda limping, her legs still messed up from that night that changed everything. "I figured you were gone for good." I slammed the door, tossed my bags down. I thought about it for a second. Then she leaned out, touched my arm. I jumped back. Her hand just hung there, trembling, before she yanked it away like it was on fire. "Can we talk, please?" she asked. "I know I messed up," she said. "I know I don't deserve you, but I can't sleep, I can't eat, I feel like I'm losing my mind." I almost laughed, because I had lost my mind, listening to her lies night after night, convincing myself I was crazy. And now she was drowning in her own mess. She took a step closer. "You didn't deserve what I did," she whispered. "But Tyler, he made me feel something. I was scared, bored, I don't know, I just don't." I cut her off. "Don't you dare stand there and use bored as an excuse for cheating." Tears started streaming down her face. "I made a mistake." "No," I snapped. "You made a whole string of bad choices, and now you're crying because your little game backfired." She just crumbled, shaking. "I don't want to lose you." "You already did," I said. Silence hung heavy. Then quietly she asked, "What are you going to do?" I looked around our kitchen, where we used to have breakfast, at the fridge still plastered with those fake happy pictures. "I'm finishing this," I said. Her eyes went wide. "What does that mean?" "It means I filed for divorce. It means I contacted your sponsors and gave them the whole story, the videos and everything. So it wasn't just about cutting her out of my life, I got real close and said, 'I'm making sure everyone knows exactly who you are.'" She just crumpled to the floor, but I didn't stick around to watch. I went upstairs, grabbed the rest of my stuff, and came back down with just my keys. As I opened the door, she looked up, eyes all wide, and said something totally unexpected. "Ethan, was it you?" she asked. I stopped. She didn't even blink. "That night at the club, the carving, the cameras, the timing, was it you?" She kept going. I stared at her for a while, then I smiled. "Doesn't matter anymore, right?" I said and walked out. When I left that day, I swore I'd never talk to her again. But fire's not just about burning things down. It lingers, it stays in the air even after the flames are gone. And Madison? She was still standing in that smoke, gasping for air, choking on all the stuff she never thought would catch up to her. Within a week, she was everywhere, but not in a good way. No more fancy photo shoots, no more vacations with brands, no more sponsored posts. Poof. No more perfect Madison Taylor lifestyle pics with those fake smiles and perfect filters. The influencer world turned on her fast. Screenshots of her texts were all over Twitter. Reddit was flooded with clips of her and Tyler laughing it up in that dark club. Even her fans turned against her. The comments were brutal. "This is the girl who lectured everyone about loyalty? Karma? Man, Karma did a better job than any tattoo artist ever could." I didn't say a word about anything, Didn't bother defending myself. Didn't need to. The truth, it just kind of did its thing. So I put all my energy into putting my life back together, away from all the drama. I got a nice, quiet apartment, a real haven of peace. No lingering perfume, no secret second phone hidden away anywhere. Just me, a comfy couch, and this part of myself I'd almost forgotten. Even so, the blocked calls kept coming, the numbers I didn't recognize. Finally, one night I picked up. "Ethan?" Her voice was weak, barely a whisper. I didn't say a word, and she kept talking. "I know you hate me, I deserve it, but there's something I have to tell you, something I haven't even told anyone else." I stayed quiet. "Someone's following me," she mumbled. "I think someone's watching my place. My tires got slashed last night." My stomach lurched, but not from fear, more like annoyance. "You think maybe karma is finally catching up to you?" I shot back, a little nasty. "I'm serious," she snapped. "This isn't just online stuff. This is real. Someone's messing with me. You think it's one of Tyler's other women, Madison? You weren't the only mistake." Silence on the other end. Then she dropped a bomb that completely floored me. "I think it's someone you told." I froze. "What?" She lowered her voice. "What happened at the club that night? It wasn't an accident. You and Candace planned it. I know it. And honestly, I don't even care about the divorce. I deserved it. Look, whatever went down after that, the stalking, the threats, I think it all started because of me." My jaw was tight. "No one's coming for you, Madison," I told her, my voice firm. "They already did. You lived through it." But she whispered back, "Someone's still messing with me, and I don't think they're finished." I hung up the first time in ages, and honestly, I didn't feel any sense of relief. It felt darker than that. Not regret, not guilt, but something in between. Like, what if things went too far? What if I'd opened Pandora's box and unleashed something I couldn't control in her life? I tried to shake it off. Told myself she was just freaked out, paranoid, her usual spiral. But then the next night Candace called. "Have you heard from Madison?" she asked, her voice tight. "Heard what?" I asked, my stomach dropping. She jumped. "Outside her gym," he mumbled, his words chilling me to the bone. "Black eye, broken wrist. Liar gets what she deserves," was written there. I just sat there, my heart hammered. Candace gasped. "You didn't do this, did you?" "No," I shot back. "Of course not." Silence. Then she just said, "So who the hell did?" And for the first time, I had absolutely no clue. I thought it was over. Turns out it was just a new player. I barely slept after Madison jumped. Not because I didn't care anymore. That part of me died the second I saw Tyler's name on her phone. It was because it hit me. I wasn't the biggest threat in her life anymore. And that meant things were going to get really weird. I texted Candace first, you know. "Ethan, we gotta chat tonight." She texted right back. "My place, 8 p.m., no phones." That last part gave me the creeps, I gotta say. When I got there, she'd already poured 2 glasses of wine and blacked out the windows like we were getting ready for a fight. "Talk," she said. No small talk, no hugs, just straight into it. "I didn't sick anyone on him," I told her. "You didn't either, right?" "Of course not," she snapped like I was a complete idiot. I wanted justice, not a criminal record. We just sat there, quiet as can be, for ages. You could hear the fridge running and the cars going by outside, but inside it was like the quiet right before something blows up. Finally, Candace broke the silence. "There's someone else involved." I just slowly nodded. "Do you think you're one of Tyler's enemies?" She gave me this intense look. "Tyler didn't just cheat on me, Ethan. He owed people, lots of people." She walked over to a drawer and pulled out a folder. It was old school, thick with papers, photos, and messages written in red ink. "I did some digging," she explained. "After everything went down, I got curious. Tyler was running scams like crypto pumps, fake events, and even debt collection. He screwed over a ton of people. I started flipping through the stuff. One name jumped out at me. "I'm Brandon Malloy." "Who's this?" I asked. She looked away for a sec before saying Tyler owed someone 60 grand. 3 years ago, this guy I knew got locked up for a brutal assault. He got out 3 months before all this craziness started. My throat felt like it was closing up. "You think he's after Madison?" I asked Candace. She just nodded. "If he thinks she was involved or even just close enough to be a problem, then yeah, he probably is." I leaned back, rubbing my temples. This wasn't how it was supposed to go at all. I wanted her reputation destroyed online, not, dead in a parking lot. Candace sat next to me and said something I didn't expect. "You should warn her," she said. I just laughed, a bitter, hollow sound. "After what she did to us?" I asked. She looked at me, her face a little softer. "This isn't about forgiving her," Candace said. "It's about not becoming what they were. We wanted revenge, not to kill her." I looked into her eyes and saw something I knew all too well. Not love, no sympathy. Just that look someone gets after going through hell and not wanting to see anyone else go there. So the next morning I called Madison. She answered right away. "Ethan," she said, her voice all tired and scratchy. "Listen close," I told her. "You're in danger and it's not from me. Tyler messed with the wrong guy. His name's Brandon Malloy." There was a silence, then a whisper. "I know that name," she breathed. "Tyler mentioned him once. He said he'd kill him if he ever got out." "Well, guess what?" I said. "He's out, and he might think you were part of Tyler's little game." She didn't say anything. I'm not calling again, I said. Get out of town now. I hung up before she could even respond. I hated her guts, but I couldn't let her die, not like that. But I had no clue Brandon was after more than just her. He was hunting down anyone who'd ever meant anything to Tyler, and that included me. I figured I was done, finished, out of the woods. Boy, was I wrong. Brandon Malloy had other ideas. It all started with a note. No envelope, no address, just a scrap of paper under my door, all caps, black ink. You played a part, now pay a price. I just stared. The writing was crazy, like someone had carved the letters into the paper. I didn't freak out. I didn't call the cops, not right away. First, I checked the hallway cameras. Nothing. The feed cut out between 2:16 and 2:24 a.m. Perfect. A total blackout. Classic move. This person knew what they were doing. Okay, time to stop pretending this was just Madison's mess. I called Candace. She picked up on the second ring. He found me too, she said before I even got a word out. Then get this, a dead bird on my porch that morning. Neck snapped clean. Jesus. Okay, I said, pacing back and forth. We gotta meet, figure out how deep this rabbit hole goes. No, she said straight up. We gotta disappear just for a bit. This isn't a game anymore. She was right, but I wasn't ready to run, not yet, because this wasn't just some dumb threat. It was a message, and those messages, they meant something, so I dug in. I reached out to Drew, an old college buddy who owed me one. This dude was a cybersecurity whiz now. Drew was the guy who could make anything spill its secrets. I sent him the note along with everything Candace had found in that folder. The names, the dates, the deals Tyler was in, and the people he'd screwed over. Drew got back to me the next day. Ethan, he whispered, his voice low, you're on a list. My stomach just dropped. What kind of list? He sighed. Brandon Malloy kept track of everything when he was locked up. Letters, names, all the connections, you, Candace, and Madison. Tyler's old gym trainer was in the mix too. You're all flagged. Some of them have red ink. What does that mean? I asked, my voice barely a whisper. Inmate code, red ink means final. I just sank into a chair. My hands were shaking. He's not looking for revenge, Drew continued. He wants to purify. He thinks Tyler's crew conspired to screw him over. It didn't matter if it was true or not. I just ended the call without a word. It wasn't just a personal thing. It was a full-blown operation, and I was next. That night I packed a go bag, only the most essential stuff, changed my phone, wiped my laptop clean, and then I did something I swore I wouldn't. I called Madison. Hello, she said, her voice shaky and soft. It's me. You need to get out of town tonight. I already did, she told me. I was in a motel 2 states over. I didn't expect you to call. I had to, I said. We're all targets now. She was quiet for a moment, then she said something that really threw me. Ethan, do you think I deserve all this? I froze. No, I told her. He deserves to be exposed, not chased down. She whispered, I didn't know Tyler owed that guy. I didn't know anything. Doesn't matter now, I said. Just lay low. Her voice was like a little kid clinging to a favorite story. I miss us, she said. I hit back. That person died the minute you let someone else into our bed. You knew that. I hung up. Candace and I met once more before getting out of Dodge. No tears, no mushy stuff, just a plan. We disappear, she said. No numbers, no social media, nothing to trace us back to. We agreed. I was almost gone when she touched my arm. If we make it through this, she breathed, we'll never talk about Tyler again. I nodded, but deep inside I knew it wouldn't end quietly. Someone was gonna get hurt. I should have just disappeared, new name, burner phone, wiped clean and vanished. But I didn't. Because when you've been hunted, really hunted, the only thing worse than the fear is not knowing when it's gonna hit you again. So I stopped running. I called someone I hadn't talked to in ages, Marcus Wells. Ex-military, ex-con, now a private security guy who handles stuff that doesn't make the news. He owed me one. I called it in. Brandon Malloy, I told him. He's got me and a few others in his sights. I want it to stop. Paper trail. He asked. None, I said, but I've got names and faces. A dead bird, a threatening note, and a security camera that went dark. He's trying to send a message. Marcus didn't even hesitate. I'm gonna find him. 3 days later, a text popped up on my phone. They got him. Philadelphia, all by himself. I wanted to confront him. I jumped on the next plane. No return flight. I didn't plan on a brawl, but I had to see him. Face the guy whose fury had destroyed my past, my ex-wife, and everything I thought my future held. The meetup was in a rundown warehouse just outside Kensington. Total cliché. Broken windows, rusty gates, and darkness thick as fog. Marcus was waiting outside, basically a silhouette against the brick. He's in there, he said, but I'm warning you, he's not all there. Neither am I told him, heading inside. The place reeked of oil and something else, something nasty. Rats scrambled across the rafters. Then I saw him. Brandon, maybe mid-40s, shaved head, massive hands, the kind of dude who could crush you with a handshake. He was sitting on a folding chair, a switchblade in his hand, grinning like he knew all your dirty secrets. Ethan, he said without looking up. Yeah, you helped mess me up. he said like it was a good thing. You and your wife thought they could outsmart me. Turns out betrayal goes around and comes around. I walked closer. This ends now, he laughed. You think you can threaten me? Nope, I said. I came to make a deal. He raised an eyebrow. Leave Candace and Madison alone, you disappear. In exchange, I get out of your hair and let you keep breathing. The grin got wider. Why should I believe you? I had something he desperately needed. I let the flash drive fall to the floor right between us. Inside were Tyler's contacts, the real ones, all his secret files, every scam, every empty account, every single dollar he'd ever stolen. Brandon's face shifted. You could see the greed shining in his eyes. He slowly picked up the drive, not taking his gaze off me. So is this gonna get my money back? He asked. More than that, I told him. It gives you power, leverage, but you gotta leave the rest of us alone. He stood up and moved toward me close enough that I could smell the stale smoke on his clothes. I could kill you right now, he said. You could, I replied. But then this whole deal is off, and you'll spend the rest of your life running from both the law and the ghosts of the past. We just stared at each other, a silent battle playing out in our eyes. Then he took a step back. Deal, he muttered, and just like that, it was done. I walked out of that warehouse feeling like I'd been reborn in the fires of hell. Madison never called again. Candace vanished like she said she would, and I respected that. Sometimes the peace you fight for is the only path to really heal. What did I learn from all this? That betrayal leaves invisible wounds, that love can hurt just as much as hate, and that revenge doesn't always bring peace. It just sets you free. If you're reading this and wondering what to do when the person you believed in betrays you, here's my take. Don't bother trying to find justice. My childhood wasn't exactly a walk in the park. It was more like navigating a minefield, honestly. There were a lot of tough times, a lot of tears, and a whole bunch of confusion. I spent most of my younger years feeling lost, like I was wandering through a maze with no exit in sight. My parents, bless their hearts, did the best they could. But they were young, figuring things out just like I was. Arguments were pretty common, and the air in our house often felt thick with tension. I remember feeling so small, like my voice didn't matter much. School wasn't much of an escape either. I was a bit of an outsider, always on the fringes of the groups. Making friends was a struggle, and I was often picked on. The teachers, well, they seemed preoccupied with other things. I really learned to keep my head down and try to disappear. I just wanted to find some peace, some place where I could breathe. I started escaping into books. They became my best friends, my secret hideaway. I read everything I could get my hands on, and those stories, they gave me hope, a glimpse of something better. Then one day, everything shifted. A new teacher arrived, and she saw me, really saw me. She encouraged me, pushed me to try new things. Slowly, very slowly, I started to believe in myself. It wasn't an overnight transformation, of course. There were still plenty of rough patches. But I began to build a little resilience, a core of strength I didn't know I had. It's been a long journey, and I'm still working on it, but I am here. Looking back, I see how those hard times shaped who I am today.